Hello all, welcome back to CodeUp. Let us solve the weekly contest 329, and this is the third problem of the contest. So apply bitwise operations to make strings equal, and this problem is a tricky problem. We want slight observations to come up with this solution, I guess, because you are given a two zero indexed binary strings yes and target. This is our input yes and target. So we are having some conditions, that is nothing but we want to choose two different indices I and j such that I and j lies between the range of 0 to n, and simultaneously we can replace s and I, s of I and s of j by s of I will be replaced as s of I or s of j, and s of j will be replaced as s of I xor s of j. And for example, if this is the string yes, and if we choose the index 0 and the index 2, this is the 0th index and this is the second index. So what basically we want to do is 0 or by bitwise or 1. So the 0th character becomes 1, and the jth index becomes 0 or 1, that 0 xor 1, so it stays the same because 0 xor 1 or 1 xor 0, it becomes set bit. So we'll be end up having a string 1110. So we want to find whether we can make this yes to be target string based on these conditions, or we want to return false otherwise. So basically I hope you understand the solution, understand the problem. So let us see the example 1 to get clear understanding. So this is the yes string and this is the target string. So we can do the following operations here. So choose I equals to 2 and j equals to 0, because I equals to 2, 0, 1, 2. This is the second index, and this is going to be the 0th index. And if we have like this, then 1 bitwise 1 becomes 1, so it stays the same, and 1 xor 1, it becomes 0. The bit will be 0 now, so the resultant string will be 0010. And in the next iteration, in the sense next operation, we are choosing the I to be 2 and j to be 1. So I is now to 0 1 2. This is the I and this is the j, sorry, this is the j, and 1 bitwise or 0 becomes 1, and 1 it is already a 1. So now 1 xr 0, so this 0 in the first index becomes 1 now, so it becomes the string 0110. So that is the exact target string that we want, and we can make this yes to target by this set of operations. So so what we can do is, basically I have a simple solution after the observations of example 2. What I observed is, I will just say from or and xor. So what I have observed in my note when I doing this problem is 0 or 0 is nothing but 0, and 0 or 1 is nothing but 1, and 1 or 0 is nothing but 1, and 1 or 1 is nothing but 1. So for XOR, what is the case? 0 XOR 0 is 1. Sorry, 0 XOR 0 is nothing but 0, and 1 XOR 1 is nothing but 0, and 1 XOR 0 is 1, and 0 XOR 1 is 1. So by doing this, I was seeing the string yes and yes, and I was choosing two indices, and whenever there is a 1, it is always possible to make a 0, or whenever that string is having a 0 and 1, it is always possible to make some index to be 0 and some index to be 1 based on these two operation or and xor. If I choose one index as I and other index as j, based on some possible cases, we can always make it to be a set bit, or we can just toggle. But whenever a yes string or the target string is having only zeros, it is never possible to make that particular that make some character which at that particular index to be one at all. What I'm saying is, if a string is having only zeros, it is never possible to make some character at that particular index to be one if needed. So that is what I observed from this two examples after writing these cases and observing the two examples. So what I have done is, first itself I'm having a base condition. If my yes is equals to target, then I will just return true. Or else what I will be doing is, I will be having a two boolean flags f1 and f2, and initially it is going to be false. And I'm going for a loop, and both the string is having a same size n. So I'm just going having a one for loop, and what I'm doing is, if I just have one in a string and one in target string, I will just make f1 to be true and f2 to be true. So yeah, what does this mean is, if a string yes or if a string target is having only zeros, then this f1 or f2 will be false. It will never become a true at all based on these two cases. I guess you can just titrate and see. So finally, I'm just returning f1 and f2, because if I have 0 and 1 in that particular string, it is always possible bringing yes to target. So I'm just returning f1 and f2. So this is how I have solved this problem, and the time complexity will be an order of n, and the space complexity will be an order of 1. I have not used any extra space. So hope you like the solution, and based on some observations we can just do it. So let us see in the next problem, and until then, bye. And I will also leave the solution links below for your clear understanding. Okay, bye.